than CSGO was towards the end of its life. But given how much gaming as a whole has grown, I think it's hard to argue that CSGO is the biggest Counter-Strike.
I think that's fair. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fair.
So with that in mind...
I would actually argue in that realm then that Go wasn't the biggest one. I'd say it was 1.6.
Sure.
1.6 like dominated gaming.
That's what I mean. Relative to the size of gaming, 1.6 was
1.6 for sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
1.6 monstrous, but in terms of just actual size, right? Not relative to how big gaming is now. I think it's pretty clear CS:GO is the biggest Counter-Strike ever. So, what is Counter-Strike 2? Well, we get the Source 2 engine, which is, I mean, the first major update to, okay, it's been updated, but this is the first integer revision to Source since, Source launched with CS Source, did it not?
I think so.
Or was it Half-Life 2? What's the first game with the Source engine? Chat, you're going to have to help us out here.
Yeah.
Unless we beat you to it. First game with Source engine is, oh lordy, my Counter-Strike Source. Yes, it was. Back in 2004. Luke, it's been 19 years since the Source engine launched.
Oh, God.
That is amazing. So with it comes...
Chat was saying Half-Life 2.
With it comes a lot of more modern features, right? Like one of the big things that Valve talked about was way better volumetric effects, for example.
Yeah.
But I've already seen criticism of those volumetric effects, saying that they alter gameplay in a way that is not pleasing to some of the players. So
Interesting.
Can you tell me about what immediately jumped out of the screen at you as better and what immediately jumped out as worse? And I'm sure chat's going to get in on this as well.
This might be because I haven't played for a very long time, but the hitboxes felt different. For some reason, I felt like I had a significantly easier time than I normally do when I'm playing Counter-Strike picking heads.
Well, you know they've locked in tick rate, right? So it's consistent.
I wonder if something like that. I'm not sure what it was, but I could like think in my head, I'm just gonna, like at one point in time when I started kind of sniffing this out, I decided to only play with a deagle. Because I was like, let's see how well this goes. And I was just ripping heads off.
Right.
And I'm like, this isn't normal. Like I am okay at Counter-Strike, but I'm not that great.
Can I propose an alternate theory? CS2 just launched. A whole bunch of people who haven't played in a long time or haven't played at all are sitting there flopping fish in the barrel for you.
Maybe.
Bow,
Maybe
bow,
that's it.
Man, I'm good. Bow, bow, bow.
But
could be a little bit of that.
But yeah, it was interesting. I felt like something was going on there. Maybe it was that. I don't know what it was. I didn't look into it at all. I don't care. But I noticed that right away. I personally love the smokes. I know smokes are a huge part of gameplay. I know like the really good players will know very specific, like stand on this pixel, throw it that pixel, it lands on this exact spot to perfectly cover. Blah, 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 blah. It's always been a really big part of highly competitive gameplay.
Right.
But I never cared because I wasn't playing highly competitive.
So you were just throwing a smoke grenade.
Yeah, whatever. But now,
hope for the best.
Now they're like fun, and you can do weird tactics with it because you can throw a smoke and then throw an HE like next to it, and it'll blow off like part of it, so you can see for a quick second. But you knew where you threw that HE, high explosive, whatever. So like you can be ready and aiming at the spot that you know is going to clear. Then it clears it and you can take out people through the smoke. Like I find the tactics of that to be more interesting than, every pro has just memorized 10 billion exact perfect locations to throw things to cover areas. And it also adds some counterplay to the players that didn't throw the smokes. Because you can also throw a nade and then plan to push right when it clears. And it's just... things like that is very interesting. Yeah, Conrad pointed out you can shoot the smoke and it creates a little hole that you can see through briefly. Yeah, so you could have a like rifleman up front create a little zone for your opper to look through for a second, see if you can pick someone really quick. There's a lot of what I find to be very interesting playmaking mechanics in the new stuff that might frustrate extremely veteran players, but in my opinion will make the game more fun, more active, and
more dynamic.
potentially more interesting to watch because of how dynamic. So I'm interested to see how this will play out.
Small correction, everyone was right. I only read the headline. The source engine debuted in October 2004 with Half-Life 2 and Counter-Strike Source.
Being a kid and like I was
Hey,
really
there you
young,
go.
but still using
So yeah, I mean, so far it feels good to me. It feels pretty fresh. Now, I didn't look into anything. I just wanted to play it for myself and see how I thought about it.
It's apparently called Subtick,
on it. I had that drag
and
racing
some
flash
people
game
are
on it.
extremely stoked on how crisp it feels, like you were.
Yeah, it felt
and,
great.
And the rest of the chat is a lot less stoked, and it's clearly a divisive issue.
So what are the people saying? The people that aren't stoked on it, Subtick is garbage. So what? Yeah, what's bad about it?
Yeah, we want to know what's garbage. I have to confess,
I
haven't played. I have started Baldur's Gate 3, but I haven't played Counter-Strike 2.
I want to talk about that too, but. Yeah, Conrad says Subtick feels awesome. I'm interested in, because like I can't say that I'm a Counter-Strike player. I got Global Elite, but in Wingman and with Joe carrying me.
Okay.
So I don't know how.
No offense, but like.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what that means.
I could probably hit Global Elite with Joe carrying me. I'll just be like, I walk out of spawn, immediately dead. Okay, Joe, kill them.
It would be great when like, because so Wingman is a 2v2 game, so it would be great when Joe would die and I would kill both of them. And he's generally a very respectful person, but you hear
so kind.
You hear the undertone of surprise in his voice, and it's just like, come on, man.
Oh wow, good job.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
So funny.
He's a genuine guy, though. Joe works customer service for Floatplane. He is genuinely the nicest guy. Like I've experienced the same thing.
Yeah.
Like there was one time playing Tarkov, like you guys were knocked or something. I managed to take out a guy and then like pick you guys up, and he was just like,
not how Tarkov works, but
whatever, something like that. It was kind of like that.
Yeah.
And he was just like, that was awesome. Like he's just genuinely happy.
Yeah.
But he was also very surprised.
But you can hear it. You can hear it. You know what's going on. So yeah, I got carried there for sure. But like I'm saying is I've played, but we did that like years ago. Like I don't
whatever doesn't
play.
knocked or whatever you're bleeding out. It doesn't matter. The point is they were incapacitated in some way.
We were out of the fight. I knew what he meant. Yeah, it's fine.
Just don't worry about it. We weren't playing PUBG.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Jeez.
But as someone who doesn't play Counter-Strike but has played quite a bit, I have a few hundred hours in
me too. It's amazing how bad I am.
I liked it a lot. The Subtick or whatever it was felt great to me. I'm sure there's people who actively play that don't like it for whatever reason. I don't know what they are, but it felt great to me. I really, really like the smokes.
Mm-hmm. No one's giving a good reason to not like it so far. And Poisons in Floatplane chat says, I actually like it too, but I think people are mad that it's different and they spent so much time to learn the old one for nothing. I gotta say, that's been one of my biggest problems with Counter-Strike. It's a game that I've always wanted to love, and I, like I said, have put a significant number of hours, and probably not hundreds, but I've put a significant number of hours into, and I used to stream it. I have never managed to really crack it. Like, I think you've played with me a couple of times. I know my way around some of the most iconic maps, and I kind of know where someone might be likely to pop their head out or whatever, but beyond that, I don't find the rote memorization of how to play this situation very interesting personally. I prefer a more dynamic, slower time to kill FPS like a Halo over something like a Counter-Strike. And I do kind of wonder if this is going to change it for me a bit. Maybe I would actually prefer this, because one of the things that drives me most crazy, or has driven me most crazy about Counter-Strike, is I'd be sitting there at my good computer with my good internet connection, lining up someone's head in my crosshair, pulling the trigger, and it's like, Nah, dog.
I feel like that person should be dead.
When they're moving this way and you're moving that way, you have to aim like up and to the right of their head, and then you have to draw a 7 or like an upside down 7 with your mouse. And I realize that the recoil thing, Valve is never going to change that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure that's still a
That
thing.
is just always going to be an element of Counter-Strike, no matter whether people like me who feel like that's stupid, like memorizing a pattern so that you can just put every single bullet down the last hole that you shot, and then everyone else, it's just scattered all over the place. That's actually not how guns work. You know, you don't just like have more strength to hold a gun steady because you. Anyway, the point is that's never going away, and that's always going to be a barrier to entry for people like me who just want to, you know, Quake style line up the crosshair and bullet go like kind of where you were aiming it. But I do feel like you said, eliminating a little bit of that. Okay, well, this is exactly the right pixel to stand on. Type of gameplay
I'm
could
sure
be a
that
good
will
thing.
still happen to a certain degree at high level lobbies. And honestly, I don't think it's like a new game or anything. It's still Counter-Strike. The map that I was playing on was Dust 2, just like it's been forever. There's some changes compared to like old school Dust 2. Like you can't aim from T-spawn all the way through CT doors anymore because there's that block there, but you
Right.
can just jump over the thing and then you can see it anyways.